Well, let's take a look at this now. South Africa has an alarmingly high number of teenage pregnancies. The Department of Social Development has taken to the road to raise awareness in provinces mostly affected by this. They've been holding roundtable conversations in KZN, Gauteng, Limpopo and the Eastern Cape. To speak to us about this, we're joined by the Social Development spokesperson, Lumka Oliphant. A very good afternoon to you, Lumka. Thank you for your time and for joining us on our program. I believe that the first round of discussions on the issue of teenage pregnancies kick-started off in the Eastern Cape. Perhaps then start off by painting us a picture of how these discussions have been going on.
Good afternoon to you and also good afternoon to your viewers. We've started just in Eastern Cape in Lusiki, as you have mentioned that we are going to the provinces that are mostly affected by teenage pregnancy, namely KZN, Gauteng, Limpopo and the Eastern Cape. Firstly, we were speaking together as government departments of basic education, health. We also had traditional leaders in there. We had NGOs who were working in the area of children in Lusiki, with the hope that this month we are going to KZN. Reason being is that we are wanting to take stock of everything that we are doing. We are seeing that government is really doing a lot of work in order to prevent and empower children and prevent teenage pregnancy. But now the numbers are still high. Therefore, we want to just take stock and say, what is it that we need to do better? What is it that we're not doing right as government in order to equip parents and also children themselves for us to prevent the high numbers of teenage pregnancy.
And now, Lumka, I suppose that everybody has an obligation for as long as you're in the country to sort of deal with issues such as these. And of course, this is inclusive of communities, parents, caregivers, and especially the police. And I just want to speak on that issue of the relationship between the Social Development Department together with law enforcement to dealing with these issues. How has that been? Is there in fact even a relationship? Were they even invited in these discussions?
Yes, the police were invited and were part of the discussions. But remember, again, we are also saying that, as you have mentioned in your introduction, that the protection of children is our responsibility as all of us. When you are seeing a child that looks like unprotected, uncared for, even in a vulnerable situation, everybody has to make sure that the protection of children is our responsibility. The police also come when cases are reported and investigated by the police. Therefore, there is, between governments and intergovernmentally, there is a lot of work that is being done and a relationship amongst governments.
Speaking as well on the role of law enforcement in as far as dealing with issues such as these on the ground, and I want us to speak on the recently introduced policy where schools across the country have now been given the mandate and the green light to approach the police when, a teenage or young pregnancy is recorded in the school. How has it been going? Has there been any change since that policy has been introduced?
Remember, the policy was introduced and was enforced and now by the Department of Basic Education. This is a step that shows that government is very serious about making sure that the reporting of any child and anything that has to do with children is an obligation on all of us. Whether you are a health professional, whether you are a teacher, whether you are a social worker, it means that we all have an obligation. This is a step in a very good right direction, that the policy that enforces and makes an obligation on teachers to make sure that when children come to school and they are seen as pregnant, there is an obligation on all of us to report so that the services for children can be given to the family as well that has a child who is pregnant. Services can go to the child who is pregnant, because remember, if a child is pregnant, they still need to get the service, the psychosocial services. They still have to be in school. They still have to make sure that they eat and get the necessary support Therefore, this is a very good step in the right direction by the Department of Basic Education, and the numbers will show once everything is in place, because remember, it was only promulgated and was also enforced last month.
Well, Lumka, we will have to leave that conversation over there for now, but indeed, thank you so much for your time and for joining us on our program.